weeks after I cremated my husband, I found a photo of him on a beach in Crete. He was smiling. He was tan. The timestamp said yesterday. I didn't call the FBI. I didn't call my son. I made coffee. I opened the life insurance paperwork and I signed the $2.1 million check. His name was Mihai, 19 years married. He owned a small commercial flooring company in Edina, Minnesota, and flew to Bucharest on September 12th for a trade show. A Romanian officer called at 4:11 a.m. His English was bad. I heard fire before I heard sorry. The rented Skoda had gone off the E60 near Brașov. The body was identified by passport and dental records faxed from his own dentist. We cremated him in Romania. The urn flew home in our son Adrian's carry-on. Adrian was 17. He read the eulogy from index cards he'd filled out in the airport. I held his hand at the closed casket and planned the rest of my life around a man who, it turned out, was eating grilled fish in Crete. For 6 weeks I wore the ring. I alphabetized the spice rack the way he hated. I did not cry in the grocery store. I did not cry at parent-teacher night. I graded midterm essays in red ink and let the casseroles stack up in the freezer. I was, by every visible measure, a widow. October 28th. Adrian had been accepted to MIT. I was packing his old MacBook into a moving box. I opened the lid one last time to wipe the screen. iCloud photos started syncing. 47 new images. The first thumbnail loaded. A beach. Turquoise water. A man in a white linen shirt, sunburned, laughing at someone behind the camera. I knew that laugh. I knew the chip in his front tooth from the night he tried to open a beer with it. Geotag, Elaunda, Crete. Timestamp, October 26th. 2 days ago. I scrolled. There were 46 more.
7:14 p.m. I sat on Adrian's bedroom floor. I zoomed to 400% on a single photo. A woman's hand rested on his shoulder. On her finger, Mihai's grandfather's signet ring. The one he had told me was lost in the fire. The one I had cried about because of all the things, that ring. I did not cry now. The room got cold the way old houses do when a furnace dies at 3 a.m. I screenshotted the image. I emailed it to myself. I closed the laptop. I went downstairs and I made tea. I still had QuickBooks access from helping with the books in 2022. I logged in at 1 in the morning. I searched for Lena Pavel, office manager, hired 3 years ago, 2 months before he opened the first life insurance policy. Her payroll address had been changed on September 8th, 4 days before his flight, to a P.O. box in Chișinău, Moldova. I felt, instead, the small dry click of a piece sliding into place, the way a lock cylinder feels when the last pin sets. On November 2nd, I sat at my kitchen table with the claim packet open, a $2.1 million check made out to me. I uncapped the pelican I'd given him for our 10th anniversary and signed my full name, Irene Vassiliou. One tear hit the carbon copy, and I blotted it with a napkin so the ink wouldn't run. Anyone watching would have read that as defeat. It was not defeat. It was the trapdoor. The next morning, I drove back to North Star and asked for Karen Holloway by name. Special Investigations. She'd been doing this since 1998. I put the iCloud screenshots on the table, the Amex statement, the Chișinău payroll change. She read for 9 minutes without speaking. Then she said, quote, "You signed the check. Why?" I said, "Because I want him on the plane." She said, "Ma'am, I have to ask you to do nothing for 6 weeks." I said, "I have done nothing for 6 weeks already."
Nights later, I was about to shred the month's mail. Mihai had set the Amex statements to come on paper, never to email. I almost fed it to the machine. Then I saw, line 3 from the bottom, a charge dated November 1st. Tarom Airlines, Bucharest to JFK, December 15th. Round trip, Y class, paid in full. I checked the calendar on my fridge. December 15th was the date Adrian's school had just announced as the senior graduation ceremony. Mihai had booked his return flight 5 days before our son told him about it. Karen called me on a Tuesday. She said, "Sit down, Mrs. Vassiliou." I said I was already sitting. She said, "In March of 2024, 2 days after Adrian's 16th birthday, your husband took out a second life insurance policy. The beneficiary was him. The insured was your son.
The face value was $1.4 million. The premium auto-paid out of an account I had never seen. I remembered then, a Sunday in 2023. He'd called it the kid's college rider. He'd said it while passing the salt. He had not been escaping our family. He had been harvesting it. The graduation was not sentiment. The graduation was reconnaissance for the next claim. December 15th, 9:02 p.m. Eastern. I sat in Terminal 5 at JFK with a paper cup of tea I did not drink. Karen put her iPad in front of me, the live arrivals camera at Carousel 7, Terminal 4. Mihai walked into frame with a navy carry-on and the same brown jacket he'd owned for 10 years. He looked like a man coming home. 2 men in plain clothes stepped in from the left. A third, in the windbreaker of Homeland Security investigations, came from the right. He stopped. He took out his phone. He called Lena. Voicemail. He called again. Voicemail. Then he sat down on his suitcase and asked one of the agents for water.
Hours later, in a federal interview room in Queens, Karen Holloway slid a single document across the table. Mihai looked at it a long time before he understood. Karen said, "You insured your son for $1.4 million on his 16th birthday. Your wife signed the smaller check so we could indict you for the bigger one." Mihai did not reply. He looked at the paper, not at her. I'm told not for very long. On February 14th, 2 months later, Adrian walked the stage. Mihai had pleaded guilty by then. Mail fraud, wire fraud, aggravated identity theft of a minor. 11 years federal, no parole. Lena took a 4-year plea. North Star clawed the check back. The memorial plaque came down in March. I sat in the 3rd row, in the same black dress I'd worn to the funeral. Adrian found my eyes when they called his name. He did not smile, exactly. He nodded. I nodded back. He finally came home, just not the way he planned.